chose me, his firstborn child, to succeed him. He held to his decision until death. And yet, Alicent's son sits my throne.
And everyone's looking here, and everyone's looking right here at me, and everyone look at our churro next to left.
Yes, why stay building?
I gotta get it around this plate. Around this plate.
And right here.
Right here, please.
Rhaenyra? The stakes are just much higher. You know, the first season was very much about who's getting married to who's having a son versus who's having a daughter, and who's going to be the successor to the throne. Now we've decided there are these two sides that are deeply entrenched. One side has attacked the other side. The son is murdered, and the response is going to be swift and brutal.
Well, first, I really treasure the time that me and Matt get to shoot together. It's a real highlight of this job for me because he's a remarkable actor and like an incredibly playful actor, a real like curious person. And so I think there's a beautiful, very thrilling like liveness to the work when we get the chance to work together. And yeah, we pick up series 2 a couple of weeks after the end of series 1, and both Daemon and Rhaenyra are in a state of profound grief. I think, regrettably, they're sort of, neither of them are brilliant communicators, and I think this is revealed as a real flaw in this instance. I think neither of them actually are willing to sort of reveal, to be seen as weak in front of one another. That's sort of not where their erotic energy is. And so, in a state of grief, in this bereavement, I think they're sort of starting to shut down. There's definitely a sort of dislocation taking place. And it's bumpy through this season for them.
Grief is fueling people's vengeance in a strange way, and the cracks in the family and the friendships that have been harboured and developed over time they're becoming deeper and more estranged and more difficult, and it's about to get violent and ugly. If I met Daemon,
Yeah.
I'd be like, look man, let's go and have a beer and see what's what, you know. I think I'd I don't know, I think I'd certainly be intrigued. Sit down and go, okay. I mean, look, if I met him and he went, mate, do you want to come for a little mosey on my dragon? I'd be like, yes, let's go and have a ride on that, boss.
Looking up, please. Queen over here. Yes. Look right here, please.
It's wild. It's sort of like I am like massively disassociating right now, and I think it only hits when the press tour's over, and I'm like, oh, it's wild. But I think if you thought about like the huge reception that you're sort of coming into, I think I'd probably crumble into a million pieces.
Oh, you mean yes. You read me like a book. You look too good. It's scary.
Every series that is made, wherever it's set, it actually is what's the word I'm looking for? It represents the time in which it was made. So, for example, Game of Thrones was made prior to Me Too, and you can see that in the first few seasons. This show was made after that, and you can see that in the seasons. Does it give us an insight into how our world works? Yes, I think it does. Even if it may not have the answers, but it is sort of going, people have been doing this kind of thing for years. There's always been a situation where a group of people have just gone, the world would be a better place if those people weren't in it. What we need are voices that go, no, talk to each other. We live in a world sometimes, and our history has shown it, and we portray it in this season, where there are men, generally men, who are prepared to send other people's children to war when they're not prepared to go themselves. And I think it's very easy to sit back and go, yeah, we're going to go and invade, or we're going to go and shoot, or we're going to whatever it is, because we're sitting back in a headquarters, but there's the youth and the poor who are going to go out and think. Now, whether people will watch our show and go, you know what we've been doing is completely wrong, I don't know about that. But yes, I think it does reflect our world.
I mean, it's just such a. I mean, what better way to kick it all off than here at New York? You know, it's season 2 is going to be a ride. We've got more dragons, a whole new host of new characters, and I can't wait for people to see it.
I mean to fight this war and win it.